Hello and welcome to another enlightening episode of A Different Kind of Woman. A different kind of woman challenges the norm. Men and women are alike in many ways. However, there are important biological and behavioral differences between the two genders. Our organs are different, as are our lungs, joints, and brains. However, it was only in the last 30 years that clinical trials have routinely included women. Gender-specific healthcare is a new area of medicine, and on today's show, His and Hers Healthcare would be discussing this and much more. Joining me to discuss the topic today are the charming Liliana.
Hello.
And the ever beautiful Samantha.
Oh, thank you very much. And I must say that you two ladies are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. This show is full of compliments.
I tell you.
Okay, well, today, ladies, have you ever been misdiagnosed or given the wrong treatment?
Okay, I have been
doctor?
misdiagnosed. Never the treatment, thank God.
Wow.
But I have been misdiagnosed. I went for a blood test, and just because I was feeling very tired, so I did think something had to do with my iron because I had that issue before.
Yes.
Anyway, long story short, got a call to say that I was going to be referred to the hospital, and it was an appointment that was like 2 weeks from that day that they were calling me because my anemia seemed to be, I don't remember the exact words. I think something to do with sickle cell anemia, something like that. Okay. And I was like, what? Like,
Oh my days.
you know, it's like a shock because you kind of, what? And then, but then the day after, I got another call. I'm so sorry. Just to let you know, we mixed up your blood test results. You do not need to come here anymore. I was like, imagine.
That's actually frightening. That's frightening. I can imagine how many people do get misdiagnosed.
Of course. It's probably more common than we think.
Yes. Indeed.
Have you ever been misdiagnosed?
I
or know
haven't.
someone?
No, I can't think of anyone off my head. I personally have not been misdiagnosed myself. But I think it would be. I would believe it would be very, very alarming.
It is.
To be misdiagnosed, to think that you had something and then told otherwise later on, or probably already having the operation and then later on told.
Can you imagine? I have heard stories.
Oh, that would be awful.
Yes, it has been reported on many occasions.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But before we go further into today's topic, let's find out what the people on the street of London think about this. Priscilla.
When it comes to healthcare, are women treated equally to men? Women have a lower mortality rate than men, live longer, yet have higher rates in disease. A number of health and social factors combine to create a lower quality of life for women. Unequal access to information, care, and basic health practices increase the health risks for women. 1 in 3 women suffer from cardiovascular disease. Similar to men, yet they are less likely to think they are at risk, call for help, or attend a rehabilitation program. Women are more at risk of stroke than men and tend to be seriously affected and needing long-term care. Women are much more likely to suffer from arthritis and rheumatism, the most common types of chronic disease in the UK. In the last 20 years, rates of smoking and lung cancer fell sharply for men, yet it increased and stabilized for women. Women living in the most deprived areas have higher rates of cervical cancer than women living in the less deprived areas. Women living in the most deprived areas have lower survival rates for breast cancer, and inequalities in the breast cancer rates are increasing. In 2009, over 2,000 women were diagnosed with HIV in the UK. Recorded rates of depression and anxiety are much more than twice as high for women than for men. Women and girls in the UK are more likely to have poor sexual health compared to their European counterparts. Women face so many barriers to accessing health and social care. It can delay treatment and make health worse. Women are mostly the carers, which means that often they do not have time to put themselves first. women who suffer from domestic violence and sexual abuse may face barriers to accessing social and health care. Many women report being judged or receiving inappropriate responses from healthcare professionals. Black, minority ethnic, and refugee women are less likely to receive appropriate information and are less likely to have their care continued as a result. Lack of cultural competence affects overall attitudes to women's care. Women may also find it hard to disclose health problems related to female genital mutilation due to fear of being judged and embarrassment. Despite the increasing of number in midwives, there are still not enough to cover the birth rates. Many factors such as poor response to the physiological differences between men and women, abuse, economical disadvantage, caring roles make women to have poorer health. Let's find out what the public think. When it comes to healthcare, are men treated differently from women?
I would like to hope so. I don't know, it's very, very difficult these days to kind of get any kind of fair, I don't know, like concentration on me or on her. So
I go to the doctors more than he does.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he's asthmatic, so that's what he goes for. But for me, recently I have had to go for different health reasons. And I didn't grow up in the UK. I grew up in Dubai, which is all private healthcare, and I'm a student. So nothing against the NHS, but I'm not used to it, and it's hard, and I get they're trying to help, but like there's waiting lists for things.
Yeah, it just goes on and on
If
and
you
on.
ask for something, which I've had to recently, like things like blood tests or whatever, they're very reluctant.
I'd like to hope so. Not sure if they are or not, but they should be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can't see a great difference.
How easy do you find it to consult a doctor about your health problems?
I think the problem is when I'm trying to book appointments and things, I think that's that first stage before you get to the doctor. I don't know if it's the people in the reception or whatever else, but that whole process takes way longer. If I need something quick, then it's not a quick process whatsoever. It takes weeks.
Sometimes you have to wait a while to get an appointment, up to 2 weeks at a time. But I've been quite lucky, actually.
Quite easily. It does depend, obviously, on what the issue is. So if it's something quite personal, then it can be quite hard to explain what it is.
It's relatively easy, although I think a lot of women would like to have a women doctor.
What do you believe reduces the quality of women's health in the world today?
When it comes to things like tests for cancer, breast cancer, whatever, they say there's an age limit, which I know, but as soon as girls, I think, start, being in their young 20s, they should just start having those sort of tests, and I think they forget that even if they think it's going to be a negative, that's great, but we should have the opportunity to be able to take those sort of tests if we personally want to.
I think it's lifestyle, the fact that we don't have as much time to spend in the kitchen, and also what we're eating.
I think just inequality in general. Like, we have to pay for feminine products that we, are just a part of our lives, and that men don't have to deal with, and if they did, I'm sure that it would be free for them.
That's it from us in the streets of London. It's back to you in studio.
Thank you, Priscilla. The views on the street is so important, as well as the statistics given to us about women and the need for health care is important. The availability and the quality of care, I think, impacts on the quality of care that we have. It affects basically all areas of our lives. What do you think, ladies?
We need to be healthy.
Yes.
I just found it interesting. A lot of them were saying that they found it difficulty in getting like a doctor's appointment. I actually have to agree with that, because when I need a checkup, it is quite hard. I tend to have to just keep calling and calling and calling, and hopefully I will get an appointment, or I will be told, call back in the afternoon. And then when you call back in the afternoon, probably I won't get one, and then I have to try again the next day.
Yes.
And then I suppose if it's something more serious, I suppose they advise you to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bit of a nuisance not being able to get an appointment when you really need it.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so I think that's an issue. I think that I wish they'd do something to kind of change that.
Some GPs, they have extended hours. Out of
hours, yeah.
That people
mine
can get
certainly
help.
doesn't. Yeah.
So I was going to say the same thing with me, especially people who work 9 to 5 jobs Monday to Friday.
Yes.
And, you know, maybe they don't have, again, everyone can make time, but I'm just saying maybe they don't have the time. Maybe that week is a deadline in their, I don't know, in their job. I don't know. And they want a Saturday appointment. For example, with my GP, there's no Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's Saturday. I mean, mine's not open on a Saturday, but I think it would be very, very good if they did.
Helpful. Even if, I understood if it couldn't be the whole day, but even if it could be, I don't know, an afternoon or that would definitely help.
I know, the demand is very high.
I know.
Yeah.
And demand and supply, it's very high. But the thing is, some people don't realize you can change your GP, you know.
Yes, I think you can change your GP.
Yeah, if it's not convenient, if you're having problems.
But that is a long procedure.
That is so long.
It doesn't always. I know you say it so easily, but it's not always so easy because of the catchment of where you live.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you want a GP, maybe a better one in another area, if you're not in that catchment, it's probably not going to happen so easy unless you've got a really outstanding
service,
a special service, or if you have a really complaint that can flag up to really give you an excellent reason for not. So you can't just say, oh, it's because I can't get an appointment, so I want to move.
Yes,
it normally doesn't
it has to be much more than that.
It doesn't normally happen like that. But I mean, it's interesting that a lot of people still don't know that we are actually entitled for an MOT at least once a year, but that's not encouraged. It's only encouraged. It's only encouraged if, like, for example, your family have, you know, certain histories of sickness, and then they encourage it. But I think everybody's entitled to that, and I think we should use that. So at least once you get that full-on test,
see what's happening.
But it's the doctors, and they have
they don't tell you.
But as individuals too, we have our role to ask for help.
You got to push for it.
Yes,
you've got to push for it.
I'm going to be honest though. One of the ladies said in the street interviews, what she said is very true about taking time to cook what's right.
Yes.
And of course, we do need to go to the doctors, have a full check to see where we need to improve. Yes. But I do believe it does also start in the kitchen.
Yeah. It's so connected, the food we eat.
But then when you think about it, people are so busy. Yeah. And then there's no time to cook, so everything is quick. Do you know, see what I mean? It's like this quality.
You can actually do quick, healthy meals.
True.
I mean, to steam some veggies so quick.
True.
And then to have your fish, the steamed fish is very quick as well.
Oh, don't talk about food, Sam.
Yeah, I love it.
But we're going to
chicken in the oven.
We are going to take a short break, but stay tuned and we'll take a look at what's next. Find out how healthy we are with a quiz. How much exercise do you do a week?
Hey guys, I've started Insanity. I've started it.
High five. All right. Welcome back. On today's show, His and Hers Healthcare, we've been discussing how well we have been treated by our own doctors. However, while we are being treated, around 40% of all deaths in England are related to poor lifestyles, such as smoking, drinking too much, and spending too much time seated. So how we treat ourselves is a life or death issue. With that in mind, let's take a test to find out how healthy we are. How much exercise do you do a week?
Hey guys, I've started Insanity. I've started it.
High five.
Well done.
So let's look at the amounts. So we have A, B, and C answers. A, more than 150 minutes. B, 150 minutes a week, or C, less than 150 minutes. Sam, you look like you work out.
I don't actually. It's so bad.
look
It's so terrible. I'm actually going to have to go for C because I don't work out at all, which is really, really bad. And I'm very, very ashamed to say it on live TV because I do not want my viewers to follow my example. Because of time, I don't invest in myself in this way, which is really, really bad.
You know what you need to do.
And I know what I need to do.
We'll support you.
I always say it for many, many years, I'm going to live in the gym. And I don't. So, but on that note, I'm going to go for C, less than 150. But actually, I do a lot of walking in terms of, because I'm a driver, I do walk to my car park and I do...
I know the feeling.
I do walk back to the car park and I do walk to the car park. I do bits of walking in between, but absolutely I don't, I mean, weekends, if I'm out with my husband, we'll go to the park and things. I do a little bit of walking, but it's not absolutely nowhere near enough to call it an exercise, really.
And what about you, Liliana?
So because I've just started Insanity, I am doing A, more than 150 minutes, because in Insanity you only have 1 day rest. So you have to exercise every day.
Okay.
So, but
it's making a difference.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It does make you feel. I feel more energetic.
More
like let's go.
Willing to go. Ready
sense.
to take on the world.
But I'm honest to say, the first day, second day, I was in pain.
Oh no!
All part of the process.
Yes.
So let's see, how many portions of fruit or vegetables do you have in a day? A, more than 10, or B, 5 to 10, or C, 1 to 4? How many portions of fruit or vegetables?
I absolutely love fruit and veg, I have to say. Yeah. I can't eat a meal without fruit, without some veg. Okay. Any meal that I do, I've always got to have veg or some salad with it. Yeah. And I do love fruits as well. But I think I'll stick in the middle with a B, 5 to 10.
Yeah.
I want to say B, 5 to 10, but I think honestly I'm 1 to 4. Because I'll eat a banana in the morning, then an apple, but I don't see myself probably having
not
5 to 10.
Veg?
Yeah, not enough veg. I love fruit, but I could definitely improve on my veg. So I have to say C.
Yes. I am there as well. I've been making a greater effort to include more vegetables in my diet and fruits. Working on it.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Because there's a difference between fresh and frozen.
Yes.
Because sometimes they go badly so quickly, the fresh ones.
Yeah,
so it's
but
a little compromise with the taste.
If you're doing it every day, then they won't have time to go off.
Yeah, true. Or just buy enough to cook.
That's it.
And do a regular, like a weekly shopping.
Yes.
I mean, I find that now that I haven't got the children at home with me now, I don't do just big, massive bulk shopping so that things go off.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I find that if I do keep doing smaller portions and keep topping up, it works better for just me and my husband because we're the only ones in the house.
Oh, okay.
And you're probably saving money as well.
And I save a lot that way as well.
Yeah. Okay, so our next question is, how much fish do you eat in a week? First answer, 3 or more portions. Second, 2 portions. Or third, less than 2 portions.
Oh, I don't want to go.
So,
I'm gonna say,
how often do you eat fish per week?
My household, me and my husband, we love fish.
Yeah.
We love so. When
what
you
type
say
of fish do you have?
So salmon. I'm gonna be honest with you. Salmon is just. I love it so much.
Me
There's
too.
also cod, tuna, all these things. But
I have fish. I have different
so I would say probably 2 portions a week. 2 portions a week.
Yeah, I can be 2 portions a week, but I can actually jump to times when I have 3 or more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Each week varies. There can be a week where I just have it
That's
twice,
true.
but there can be a week where I'm having it 3 often. Because me and my husband both love fish.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so
Me too.
Fish is good.
Love fish.
That omega-3s going on.
I do.
girls.
I'm so happy.
Salmon.
Everyone loves fish because usually there's always one person that's like, I hate fish.
I know. I've been introducing so many people to. I've been trying different things: sea bass, halibut, cod, just
There's
different
so
ones.
many fish.
Yeah.
And it's so quick to cook. That's
It's
the thing.
really quick
You
and easy.
steam it and it's done.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it. I grew up when my parents put a lot of seasoning on it.
Yes.
That you can't even taste the fish after.
Oh no!
Like snapper fish, a Caribbean
I love
snapper
it.
fish and 8 fish.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. I love it all. I love it all.
Me too.
Now let me ask you, how much sleep do you get each night? A, I always sleep very well. B, 6 to 8 hours on average. Or C, less than 6 hours.
Wow, this is so bad.
I
'cause
know.
I have times when I just get less than 6 hours, and it's really not good. But I'm working on it to have 6 to 8.
Yes, so I'm
What
doing
about
this
you?
morning. Do you know, I'm actually calculating how many
many
hours of
hours?
sleep do I have, because my husband gets home really, really late, and you know, you kind of nod off, but anyway, me, I
not
can't
a full
completely
deep
fall
sleep.
until he's there, so I'm kind of
Yes.
like, So if
Yes.
he comes home around midnight 1, that's me being realistic, and then I'll have to wake up around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have less than 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
me being
wow. And
honest.
same as you.
I would love to have 8 and more because I love
Yeah,
sleep.
'cause you don't
When
have
I
small
touch
children
that
anymore.
Bed, honestly, that bed. When I touch that bed, you know, apart from having a wonderful time with my husband, but you know, I'm out.
Yeah.
I do love my sleep.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I don't have enough of it.
I think it's what you
not
do
fair.
before.
Yeah.
Because if you're on watching television or on social media, looking at your phone,
Yeah.
all these things are not really good.
I'm always, but
before.
it's not even so much that. I will go on social media as well. I have little habits like that as well. But,
Yeah.
you know, I will try to be doing housework and things. My
Okay.
husband's coming in late. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're going to try and do what you can do in the house or
Yes.
season up a meat and
Try to get everything done.
And if you're coming home late in the evening, I mean, I don't get home earlier than, sometimes I get home 7, 8. Sometimes I'm getting home 10. So it's impossible, you know, to just have a shower in bed.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
always something, put
The
the washing
wind down,
in, take the
take it
washing out,
out.
hang something out, la la la. It's trying to manage your
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
style. So that's what pinches my sleep.
Yes. But it obviously we seem like we need to work on that.
We do need to work on that.
I know.
Not good at all.
So ladies, we have answered A, B, and C to some of these questions, but
Alcohol.
mostly A's are the very healthy options.
Yeah.
And B, you're quite healthy.
I'm trying to work it out.
I mean, a
quite
lot of
healthy.
people, we're seeing a question, alcohol.
Yes.
So many people just love alcohol with, you know, their dinners and
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
You know?
Alcohol has a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah.
And we
Really?
think that, you know, like drinking wine or, you know, these things that it don't contain, it doesn't have, I wouldn't get fat off of drinking it.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
the
Some
sugar
people,
content.
when they're on a diet, their dietitian usually says cut off all alcohol,
All
just
alcohol.
for you to, you know, detox yourself.
Yes, I think it's very important to detox
Yeah.
from all these things, even the crisp.
Yeah. I mean, I don't drink alcohol at all. So,
Yeah.
you know, I've just made that decision. I don't need it. So,
Yes,
I tend to
yes.
keep away from it.
Yeah, in the past I used to, but I
Some people
realized that I
love
don't.
wine.
Yes,
Like
yes.
in my culture, for example, in Portugal, very normal. Grandparents, they all have, even if it's not, even if it's just like this,
Yeah.
they just, it became a habit to
It
them. It
does,
just became a
it
habit. So it's
does.
part of their, like Italians, Spanish, Portuguese, it's
Yeah.
just that, you know?
Yeah.
Part of the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to have a drink. But then the drink leads to other things.
Yeah, if you get
and of
addicted to
course,
it, yeah.
it can influence your health. But ladies, that's all we have time for.
Okay.
But it was really nice to hear how, you know, what things we need to pay greater attention to.
true.
So ladies, sleep. Yes?
Yes,
More
more sleep,
vegetables.
More exercise.
More exercise.
More exercise.
Are gonna be
I mean,
doing
my
that.
husband's actually polished up my bicycle. I've got a bike, a beautiful yellow bike, and he said, right, we're going out. But the weather's kind of changed
yes,
a bit now.
that's true.
so
Yeah.
That's true.
summer's
But we
missing.
can't go according to the weather. Whether it's,
I
you know,
know.
we're in London.
I
so-
refuse to ride in the rain.
Well, we got to get in exercise some way or
Yes,
the
we
other.
do.
Or you can buy a DVD
And do it in
and
in
do,
your own.
just
yeah,
go
you
on
can work out
YouTube.
at home.
Yeah, yeah.
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 So that's something to think about. Okay. So we're going to take a short break. Don't go away. Take a look at the interesting women that will be joining us after the break. Next, we'll be hearing from Dr. Alexandra Ridout, a clinical research fellow at King's College London, and Anita Samuel will be sharing her story in the studio.
You can take a woman who's had a really traumatic pregnancy last time, and in the vast majority of cases say, this pregnancy is going to be fine.
And wearing size 16, I was wearing size 16 and I was only 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the thing for me, how I got away with it is because of my height, so it never really, so it never showed.
Welcome back to today's DKW show, His and Hers Healthcare. Well-being of Women is a health charity investing in pioneering medical research to keep women well at each stage of life. One lady whose research they are investing in is Dr. Alexandra Ridout. Our team went to find out more, so watch this.
When we think about medical research, actually, so I'm a clinical researcher, and I just make up a very small amount of the researchers that are currently doing work in women's health and medicine as a whole. And actually the demographic when we start off is quite equal. So men and women both have opportunities at the beginning, and I guess the question really is, why don't women progress to the top of research? And I think there are issues around funding and around unpredictability of that women find struggle with. So for example, at critical times in their career, when perhaps they want to get married and have babies, that unpredictability is very difficult for them to deal with. And therefore, charity funding such as the Wellbeing of Women is incredibly important, because that gives us the opportunity to really take a step into that field and to gain experience and to fly.
So I got involved with the charity Wellbeing of Women, I guess after seeing a lot of my friends and family suffering from various issues to do with their reproductive health that there's just not much known about. I started reading up, came across this fantastic charity and just felt compelled by how much incredible work they do, how much medical research they do. So the charity has been around since 1964. It was founded by an obstetrician who'd seen a woman die in childbirth, and he felt completely determined to change that. And since then, the remit has widened, and we now fund research into women's reproductive health spanning from the start of puberty, so any issues women can suffer from, including polycystic ovary syndrome, endometriosis, then through pregnancy and birth, such as miscarriage, preterm birth, preeclampsia, and including gynecological cancers, and through to the menopause. So it's really a spectrum of women's health and covering a multitude of issues that we simply need to know more about.
Often big decisions that we make in our lives are driven by amazing mentors and grabbing and making opportunities. And so therefore within my career, I worked within the preterm birth clinic at St Thomas's Hospital. And it was really that sparked my interest in research and also in preterm birth research. So this was an opportunity to actually see and work on something in the lab that then gets translated into the bedside. Preterm birth, there are lots of questions which we don't know the answers to. And so really the research that we're doing can translate into real and tangible differences to women and the health of their pregnancies.
It's quite impressive to be offered a grant, because we get far more applications than we're able to fund, and we are always needing more funding, as most charities are, but there's just simply not enough. So for Alex to have received funding means that her research will have been vetted and kind of qualified by a whole host of experts and deemed good enough to be afforded funding, and these are by kind of a range of experts around the country, specialists in their areas who will have really rigorously looked through her research. So we're very pleased to be funding her work.
Without the well-being of women, I wouldn't be able to do this research at the moment. So they really champion research into childbirth and reproductive health. As a woman, you can't go through pregnancy without being helped by or experiencing something that Wellbeing of Women has put forward from research grants such as my own. So for example, the pregnancy vitamins that you take, looking at folic acid and its importance in pregnancy, that was established from research done by Wellbeing of Women. Some of the IVF techniques, antenatal scanning. So you can see the incredibly important outputs that this funding has. Obstetrics is often referred to as the Cinderella specialty. So historically, the funding that obstetrics has received has really been the little sister of other male-dominated specialties such as cardiovascular, heart disease, high blood pressure. But we know that research in obstetrics is the highest recruiting specialty. So the women that we look after and who are involved in our research studies make up the largest proportion of people being involved in research. And yet the funding is really only 2.48% of all funding in the UK goes to obstetrics. So really we need to emphasise the importance of this and continue to drive for more funding. My own research associated with King's College London, supervised by Andrew Shannon and Rachel Tribe, is looking to try and develop a bedside test. So when you come in as a woman to our clinic, you've had a previous pregnancy which has ended in a loss of your baby. It's a bit like a pregnancy test, so you can do it just around the dating scan. And you can take a woman who's had a really traumatic pregnancy last time, and in the vast majority of cases say, this pregnancy is going to be fine. And therefore, the reassurance and the improvement in healthcare that you can see with these research studies was such a driving force for me to see what a dramatic improvement we can help make in women's lives.
Wow, that was really interesting, and it shows the importance of funding for such a case. You know, our healthcare is very important, so the funding is necessary. So I am totally appreciating what the work in which Dr. Alexandra is doing and the team. So joining us today in studio to share her personal story is Anita Samuel, who has learned the value of her health. So welcome, Anita.
Thank you.
When did you realize that you had an eating disorder, and what do you believe caused it?
Well, I never really thought I had an eating disorder when I was younger because I love food. Mm-hmm. And being in a Caribbean background, you know, food was never, you know, it was always there. So that's what I grew up with. But I think when I started to notice that my eating habits were getting out of control was when I was in secondary school, because I had gone up in size. So my mum was, you know, getting very worried about me concerning, but it never stopped me. I would continue eating, because I just thought, I love food. I was like, let me enjoy. But I didn't realize I was damaging my health at that time. And especially being a young girl, you know, in secondary school and wearing size 16. I was wearing size 16 and I was only 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the thing for me, how I got away with it is because of my height. So it never really, so it never showed. But it got worse when I got to sixth form. So from being a 16, I jumped to a size 22.
Oh, ouch.
Wow. Yeah. So I was now wearing the same size that my mum was wearing. My mum was, you know, still being a concerned parent, you know, she was like, you need to do something about your eating. And I was just like, I just saw it as she was nagging me. So I would be like, leave me alone. And there was one time I went out with like my cousin, you know, we were in school and I went to the chicken and chip shop, went to Greg's and I went to McDonald's.
All in one
day.
And my days.
I remember him saying to me, he was like, Anita, you're not going to eat all of that. And I said to him, watch me. And I did.
Oh, wow.
I ate it all. And through that, that's when I became, you know, depressed through it.
Yes.
And I would look at my sister, because my sister's, you know, slim. I couldn't wear the clothes that she could wear. So I started wearing baggy clothes. I started wearing clothes that men would wear because I would feel comfortable in that. Right. And then it got, you know, misleading, thinking that I wanted to be a tomboy.
Oh,
wow.
And the hardest thing is, you know, speaking to someone about it, because I was I could easily cover it up. But when you're at that stage, you don't realize you have a health problem. You don't realize your eating is coming out of control. Yes.
So how did you manage to take control of your eating disorder?
It was a very, very long process. I remember I called my doctor. Well, actually, before calling my doctor, I remember there was someone that told me about my weight. And I did lose the weight, but I didn't do it for myself. I have a picture still of when I lost the weight, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. So, I would look at that picture and you see me smiling, but deep down I wasn't happy. No, and I put back on the weight, even doubled the size that I was.
Really?
Yeah.
Goodness.
So I wouldn't take pictures. If people wanted me to take pictures, I would just be in the background. You couldn't see me. I would never be happy.
So your self-esteem was probably really low at that time.
Yes, my self-esteem went so down. It went really down. And like I said, my parents, you know, my mum, give credit to her. She was, you know, very concerning because she's a mother. And even my sister. But when you're too close to your family, you think it's, you know, they're nagging at you. You think...
You don't see them helping.
Yeah.
You just see it as, oh, go away.
Exactly. So when it was someone else who told me, okay, I did it because that person said, you know, when you turn 30, and I'm 30 now, you would never see your 30th birthday. And I was like, wow, what a way to put a damper. So I did go to the doctors.
How accessible was it to get help from your doctors?
It wasn't really easy. The only way I was able to get that access, I had to make an appointment. And I thought to myself, but this is my health, it's my weight, it's my, it should be more easy.
So the doctors actually diagnosed that you really had an eating disorder?
Yeah, it was only till when he weighed me, he was just like, he put it out there. He said, you're overweight. I was like, tell me something I don't know. But you're still trying to be naive. And I was like, but I'm exercising when I wasn't.
So what steps did you take to change?
So the steps that I took to change was I had to acknowledge myself that if I continue going down that course, I wouldn't have much time to live because my eating habits were really bad. And being the type of person, I didn't like vegetables. I would eat fruits, but I loved junk food so much. And I had to say to myself, okay, what is it that you want to, do you want to live longer or do you want to continue being unhealthy? So I made that decision and I started eating healthy. And to this day, I still eat healthy. I'm not the target size that I want to be yet, but I'm doing it for myself.
Exactly.
I'm working on myself.
So what advice would you give to other women who's experiencing the same?
I would say, you know what, definitely go and make an appointment. And the most important thing is to first learn to love yourself. Because once I learned to love myself, I was able to now work on myself, work on my, my weight. And it's so funny, me, my mum and my sister, we're both now working to be a healthy people. And it's just
so important.
Yeah, it's really nice. So like, if I'm going to work, because I take the bus, instead of getting off the bus that I know I need to get off, I get off a stop earlier and I walk, you know, to the next bus.
Definitely
I was going to ask
habits.
what you actually.
Okay, that's really,
we were
really
going to
great.
ask actually, what do you do to help yourself with that disorder? Because there may be many, many female, even men, who are out there who suffer from this, and probably they don't know. Okay, the doctors.
What we will do, we'll take a break and we'll come back. But don't go away. We'll be back with more on His and Hers Healthcare. Here's a sneak peek of what's coming up after the break. Next, see Priscilla trying a capoeira class. Welcome back. On today's show, His and Her Healthcare, we have been discussing how easy it is to get the healthcare we need. Before the break, we were speaking to Anita, who shared her battle with binge eating. We all know the value of exercise, but not everyone finds going to a gym fun. Priscilla went to try a fun way to keep fit. Check it out in this video.
Who started capoeira classes for women, and she's going to let us know a little bit more of what is capoeira and what inspired her to start these classes. So Michelle, for our viewers who don't know what it is, what is capoeira?
Capoeira is a Brazilian martial arts. It was brought by the slaves when they came from Africa to Brazil. They just used to use it as a skill to pass away time during the slavery period, and it became a sport. It's now recognized as a sport in Brazil. So I got to learn capoeira through my husband, who's a professor. He's with the group Capoeira Topazio International. So he used to train a lot of guys and children, and mummies used to just come to class and would sit around and wait for our children for a whole hour and a half for our children to train. So I just thought, you know what, instead of women sitting down waiting for their kids to finish, the best thing was for us to get involved with our family and our children and start training, because as women we never really have time to train, we never really have time for ourselves. So women started coming to train with their children, and we started bringing our families, and that's how really we started this group. And it's an amazing group because now women feel empowered that even if they go to work, come home, they take kids for activities, they can still do those activities with their kids. And you know, for your well-being, for you want to lose weight, or just for social, you want to meet new friends. That's how we've become just a whole big family.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Why is it a good exercise for both men and women?
I think because capoeira works every muscle of your body. It's also for your well-being. It's very therapeutic. When you do it, you just feel so relieved. You learn music, you learn a different language because you learn to speak Portuguese. You learn how to play the instruments. There's berimbau and there's tambourine and there's the drum. So you learn music. You learn how to be disciplined as well, because while you're training, you're taught how to discipline, because it's also a self-defense, and you don't have to have body contact. If somebody attacks you when you're on the street, you know how to defend yourself without even having to touch them. You can dive any movements anybody tries on you. So it's really good that way.
So why do you like capoeira?
I love capoeira because of the whole aspect of it. First of all, because of the culture, fitness, healthy. It helps me to be more positive and motivated for my next day. Sometimes I have problems like everyone else got. And for me, when I go to capoeira, my problems are there with me. But when I finish capoeira, my problems is still there. but I'm very positive to deal with it.
I can sure go the distance now, because obviously when I first started training, I could only like train for 10 minutes and be out of breath, but now, you know, I can do a whole hour or even longer, so yeah, it just gets easier.
My approach is more holistic. Yes, so it helps me to keep myself aware of, you know, don't really get tired, run few steps and get tired. So I realized, okay, I need to train at home and get prepared before I go for the training so I can perform better. It also helped me to understand my water, the needs to drink water, because literally when I start training, you know, the water, so my water level is also rise up. Yeah, and it's wonderful exercise, it's wonderful everything together. Yes.
Wow, that looks like great fun. Having heard from our experts, what do you think needs to happen to make women's health more accessible? Ladies?
Yeah, I think that we should have more on TV, not just, you know, people just having to get their own videos to do at home. But I think, you know, you come home in the evening, you switch on the TV. If there's a program that's coming on set time, that's a health program, and it's gonna be doing exercise, people get used to actually coming home, switching on and getting into it. I think that would help a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Also, people must take the initiative too.
Yes.
To want to do it.
You gotta want to do it. You gotta want to do it.
Because I've seen exercise program and I just sit down and watch them. I said, that look good.
It's not inspirational.
That looks very good.
Yeah.
But you have to be motivated to do something about your health.
I was just going to say, to make it more accessible, I was just thinking maybe doctors in the communities, GPs in the communities could go to schools, could go to, I don't know, I'm saying even here, churches, charities, and actually have seminars with, not just one-off when something drastic or bad has happened, but to prevent it, to go out there to schools, communities, I don't know, go to a coffee shop.
Like, do you know what's nice now? That a lot of the parks now, they've got like a gym in the
so they
park.
can exercise outdoors.
I think that's really, really accessible for everyone. It doesn't
it's free.
cost. Because most people, why they don't go to a gym, sometimes it's costly.
Yes.
You know, you have to pay a monthly fee and things like that.
Very
But,
true.
I mean, going to the park, it's free.
Yes, you just
So-
got to
Do you know what?
do
If
it.
everyone just did that, indeed, it would be so much quicker.
That's good.
Yes,
That's-
but the GPs are accessible. You just need to go to within your, you can go Google it, find out where your local GP is located and register with them. Because a lot of people are not registered. So register will be the first point. Before I go to the GP, I always make note of what I'm going to ask them. Because very often I forget.
Yeah.
So I make a note, I make a list of what I'm going to ask my doctor when I see them.
Well, you only get 5 minutes, isn't it?
I was just going to say.
Oh, my doctor,
Well, by law,
we
you
go
only
a
get
little longer.
5 minutes, really.
So quick.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
so
true.
it's good to have a clear idea of what you want to say so you don't forget. Because if that time is limited, you want to get all your points across.
So that they can do the job efficiently.
Yes. And don't be afraid to open up. They're there to help.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's so many ways that we can learn and grow and develop from, you know, taking better care of our health. It is available. It's up to us as well to take initiative, and don't hesitate. Ask for help, because our mental health as well as our physical health is very important. So make use of the services that are available. There are many specialized services.
And I think sometimes as well that, you know, sometimes we have to listen to what others are saying to us in that sense.
I have to be honest.
Because sometimes, you know, you yourself is not seen or knowing. You may think that, you know, even our guest Anita, you may not know that you're munching away and you're getting overweight because you may be so comfortable with it. And you're in your comfort zone. So I think if you've got people saying to you, you know, you are putting on a bit of weight or you know, you are eating a bit too much, listen to that. Because
don't be so sensitive.
It's very true. People love you. Your partner, your friends, your family members who know you very well.
I agree.
You know, close friends, maybe even just the colleagues at work. Oh my God, you are putting on weight. Or just even, you know, look at your clothes. Are your clothes beginning to not fit you?
Exactly.
Things like that can, if you listen and see those signs, you can tap into think, okay,
but
I really need to
as
do
Anita
something.
also said, you know, it usually sometimes it's like you have one symptom, but you also have reasons why behind that. You know, and as a result of it,
problem.
Exactly.
So sometimes
and
it's
for
not,
her
it's
it was
not that putting
depression.
on weight. It's deal with that.
It's
true.
So you treat the physical, but you also treat, you know.
I was just going to say really quickly, because I know time's, you know, coming to an end, but in regards to when people tell you things as well, it's important not to take things always so personal or be so sensitive, because maybe the person doesn't know how to say it, but they're just trying to help. I've had sometimes people say, Lily, you look so tired. And I was like, oh, you know, you put makeup and you think,
don't think that you look tired.
But with that, I went, okay, it's true. Maybe I can rest a little bit there. Maybe I can do that. So.
It's always something that we can do. Ladies, today's topic was so enlightening. I've learned a great deal. There's so much that we can take for ourselves that we can improve. So feel free to tell us your thoughts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or email. Our email address is comments@dkw.me. So join us next week for another exciting episode of DKW. Until then, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from us.
Goodbye.
Bye.